There we go. John, I'm gonna make you host,
Post
I think. Yep, there we go. Change host.
and record.
Yep, we are recording currently.
Oh, okay. I see recording. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
When you're done and you end the meeting, it'll go off automatically. So.
Okay. Sounds
Yep.
good.
All right, guys. Good luck and thank you again.
Thank you.
You.
Hey, Todd. I got all your emails. A lot
Great.
of policies.
That's a start.
That's
That's a start. I think we got like 23 or 24, Jay, wasn't it?
Wow, that's a lot, guys.
23, I think, was my last count.
The goal is to get all our, at least on our end, out to you guys by the end of next week. So you guys
Okay.
can start reviewing and making suggestions on what else we either need to add or remove or, but before we start the meeting, something we didn't do last week and we probably should do, especially now that we're being recorded, is probably introduce ourselves.
Yes,
So-
good idea.
I guess I'll start. I'm Todd Pusey. I'm the Chief of Police for the Village of Altamont.
I'm John Scally, village trustee.
Deb Hext, chairperson of the Village Planning Board.
Jason Johnston, I'm an officer in the Altamont Police Department.
George Schiller, a resident of Altamont for over 70 years.
Todd, are you laughing at me? I introduced myself twice, but I'm Jean Conklin. I own Hungerford Market in the village.
So everyone knows Patrick probably won't be here tonight. I believe he's at work. And again, Tommy Tubbs is also, I guess, on the committee, but
Yeah,
I'm not sure what the situation
yeah,
is.
he has not been feeling well, so that's why he reached out to me. Did you guys get the email? I think George did some edits on there, and I'll be glad to make adjustments. That's just kind of like a base. I saw in a couple different municipalities that they had submitted theirs already, and I use that as kind of like a guide. And we can always definitely add to what I've written so far. I see there's a lot of policies that we have to we can talk about, and does anybody else have any suggestions?
The mayor had a good suggestion that she brought to our attention there. The NICOM website has a list of a lot of agencies, which is the New York Conference of Mayors, in case anybody didn't know what that is. They have a lot of the departments that have already done this. They have their draft as well. Some of them are already been approved, posted, and you can reach them from that site. And it gives you an idea of what we're looking to accomplish here. The bottom line, big picture is, just so everyone gets what we're looking to do here, is the reform is so that our police department reflects the community that we are serving. So
Yeah.
For us to do everything, it doesn't make sense because we're just self-policing ourselves. So we're going to make the modifications that we think meet the requirements in that book that we all have. And then we want you guys to look at it and make any other changes, write all over, whatever you think we should do to meet the requirements of our community. We're looking to be a fit for our community. A lot of the stuff that's in the book really doesn't apply to Altamont because it's based on problems in like minority areas and gang areas and stuff. And we really don't have that situation in our village. But it ain't perfect. We do have some situations and we want to meet the requirements of the people we serve in our jurisdiction. So we want our policies to reflect what you guys expect of us. So we're putting out what we think you want of us, but we need to hear back when you guys get the time. And again, I know there's going to be a lot coming at you in the next week and a half still, so we get it all out there for you. But then we can kind of put the brakes on a little bit, give you guys times to review all this stuff, make recommendations, and then we can meet as a committee and discuss these recommendations. And then we'll document everything we're actually changing and putting into effect as part of our plan. In addition, I know the John and the mayor was working on, I think Deb as well, the questionnaire. We're looking to
Yes.
get that we probably should review that tonight and get that approved so that if we're all happy with the questions on there, so that we can get that out on our website sooner rather than later, so we can put it out there for a couple of weeks and allow people to respond so that, we're being transparent as well. In addition, like I said, the mayor said these are being recorded, and if people do want to see these committee meetings that we're having, they will have access to them now.
And it's a good opportunity that the questionnaire is the Village of Altamont Police Survey. And we wrote up 10 questions, and it's geared towards, I think, our community. And like you said, we're primarily a part-time police department here in the Village of Altamont. And we want to see, I mean, everybody has read this questionnaire. Is there anything that you'd like to add to it, or you're happy with what we currently have posted that's going to go on the website? Like, what is the time you
You wanna
had?
go
to
through each
contact-
question, John? There's only 10 of them, so.
Yeah,
why
I
don't we
can
go
go
through
through
each
each question. Okay, when was
Yeah.
the last time you had contact with the police department? Like never within the last 3 years or more than 3 years ago. That's question number 1. Question number 2, was your reason for contacting the Altamont Police Department resolved in a professional manner? Yes, no, or not applicable. The Altamont Police Department's diversity is reflective of the community. Strongly agree, neither agree or disagree or strongly disagree. The Altamont police officers are responsive to our community needs. Agree, neither agree or disagree. The Altamont officers are held accountable for their actions. Agree, neither agree or disagree. Altamont police officers strive to have a positive impact on the village. Agree, neither agree or disagree. Complaints against the Altamont Police Department or officers will be heard and reviewed objectively. Agree, neither agree or disagree. Altamont police officers do a good job. I like that. Strongly agree, neither agree or disagree, strongly agree. And the last question is, how satisfied are you with the Altamont Police Department? Very satisfied, satisfied, neutral, dissatisfied, or very dissatisfied. And there's a nice little, I can't see it on the, but a police officer.
remarks.
Yeah. So the questions are pretty straightforward. I mean,
There's
it'll
a
be on the
section
web-
there for remarks though, too, right, John?
I did not put that in
No,
there.
that was going to be a suggestion that I had, is to put a, you know. you
Okay.
could
The
list
other, I thought there was another on the bottom.
Yeah, yep.
All right.
And, you know, we took out any question about what's most important to you. I don't see anything like that, but I suppose they could put that under their comments.
That's true. So we can just add in, I had Carrie add an additional question. If you have any, how should we word this? Like, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to comment here or.
Just Additional comments?
Yeah, just
Additional
additional
comments?
comments. Yeah, I just put a little box on the bottom, any additional comments?
Yeah.
Okay, any additional comments? Yeah, that's good.
Suggestions.
Or
Yeah,
suggestions?
comments or suggestions.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm sorry, George?
Comments or suggestions.
That's simple enough. Yep. And I think the mayor was interested in putting this up this week by Friday. And we'll have
Yep.
about 2 weeks or so to have the public, and they'll probably send out a next report for the public to log onto the website to give their responses. And you can tabulate it onto this Google Doc, and we can have that information available and can basically apply that to our final write-up.
Now, I hate
In
to be a
addition to the
devil's
questionnaire. Go ahead,
I'm
George.
sorry?
I hate to be a devil's advocate, but what are we going to do for people who aren't tech savvy?
Yeah.
Because we have a
That's a
lot of
question.
senior citizens in the village.
I think we have the Zoom here. Due to COVID, we can't. I think
I
we're
think
gonna
they're
have,
gonna
we're
leave
gonna
a
have to
hard
have a
copy
public
in the
comment.
village office.
Right, that's what I was
Okay.
gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah.
They could pick it up at the village office window,
yeah,
but we could actually even put it outside in that little, you
Yep.
know, information area, then they don't have to
Mhm.
have any contact with the village staff.
That's good. Yeah.
Now, in addition to the questionnaire and the policy modification we got to make, we got to come up with some kind of preamble as to what, you know, our intentions with this, what our plan, what our goal for the village, and, you know, that's the part of this is, you know, you need that preamble at the beginning of, you know, what's the intention of this committee? What are we, you know, kind of a put it all together kind of thing. I don't know if anybody's good at that stuff or anybody wants to take the lead on that part of it, but you know, that's another big part of writing that we got to do, kind of a background of, you know, what our plan is here as a committee what we're looking at and what we're looking, to change, and what we currently have and where we're looking to go, If you look at some of those samples, they all got the, some kind of like preamble before they start showing what the modifications to policies and stuff are.
Yeah.
Just something, it ain't gotta be nothing major. Most of them are not even a page, but I think it's something
I,
else we probably should be working on over the next couple of weeks.
I did write it up. I
Yeah,
have,
I was gonna say that.
yeah, I did write this up. I can always add on to it. To foster trust and fairness within the Altamont community and address any disproportionate bias of policing in the village. That's basically like our purpose. Or we can add on to that. And I wrote the directive. Each local government entity, which is a policy agency operating in the police officers defined under 1.20 the criminal procedure must have performed a comprehensive review of the current police force deployments, strategies, policies, procedures, and practices, and develop a plan for the purpose of addressing the particular needs of the community served. And that was like the directive. And then I wrote like overall required purposes. And I mean, it's all in that email I sent. And then each of us are described what our positions are. Dead Hex, I could probably put you as chairperson for the board. I can, if anybody wants to add on to this, feel free. I mean, I just kind of like, I looked at other municipalities and I took some ideas and I compiled it here, and each of the questions were addressed. And we can also add additional policies that we're working on and put it into this. And if anybody feels free to add on to that, that'll be perfect.
Just so everyone understands, how big this project is. Some places, like cities like Albany, their plan is 95 pages long.
Yeah.
Some of the towns are, 20 pages. We probably ain't gonna be that big, but just, they want.
Global scale was like 4 pages. And
Exactly.
yeah,
That's what I was
so-
just gonna say. That's kind of where we're
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
gonna be at somewhere, it ain't gotta be ridiculous, but again, unless you guys think we have more problems that we need to address. And if that's what we're here.
I have it on my iPhone, but my son has a computer upstairs, but I think it's about 5 pages I wrote. I mean, it's a little bit more, that's about where Cobleskill was. And we're like, obviously Rochester, I saw that was significant. They had a large, because they have more worrisome within the community. Like we talked about the social cleavages, and they have to worry about any kind of biases, and there's concerns within their community and like complaints against the police department. Like we don't have the complaints on the police department.
And
But we
again, we
still
don't have
want-
that makeup they have. They do have a gang problem there.
Yes, they do. We don't have a gang problem here.
We
in
don't.
Altamont. No, we have the fair, and I addressed that in here too.
Yeah, you
That's
did.
probably about it. And we still just want community policing. When you want to be a part of our community, and
Yeah.
and I think we are representative of our community.
But again, like I said, just so we're all on the same page,
Yes.
expect you all to respond to those as I'm sending them out this week. I'm just trying to give you all the information I can as soon as I can, so you have time to review it.
Mhm.
Whatever recommendations or changes that you think either be included or excluded from the policy that we're recommending. Again, I could do it all, but it don't make no sense if we're, the purpose is for us to police ourselves. It's for you guys as a community.
Yeah.
And say, no, okay, what you got there is good, or we'd like to see this changed, added, subtracted, whatever. We ain't gonna be offended. That's what we're here for, is to be part of the team here, and we
Yeah,
want to
absolutely.
on the
Like,
same
I-
page.
I-
And we're all happy with the outcome.
Todd,
anybody
I
has-
sent you an email because I read this stuff with a proofreader's eye, and there was a bunch of redundancies in some of it, and I sent you an email showing you, what I thought might be better if you dressed it up a little bit, and I don't know if you saw that email or not.
I did. I saw it today, George, and what I'll do, like I said, I'm trying to initially get them all out there first before I start making, but then once I get the last, like I said, by next Friday, my plan is to get them all the ones that we definitely have to change out there to you guys, so you have some time to review them, because some of these are going to be big.
Yeah.
We're trying
Yes.
to do more important ones sooner, because like use of force, you notice we did the hate crimes and stuff like that are most reflective of this reform. We're trying to do those sooner, so you have more time to look at those. Some of them are going to be, small minor changes here. Photo arrays, that one we just created because it shows how we're taking the bias out of, our police work. And when you read it, you'll see what a double blind means. And, some of these guys going to be, some of these policies will be educational for you guys to understand some of the stuff we actually do. But
And I see how you highlighted some of the policies. The one policy.
we did on the
do that.
first one. Yeah,
Could you
the
do
first
that on-
one we did.
Like what you had changed, that'll be helpful if you could. do
Added
that.
in. It was
Yeah.
more
Yeah,
what
that's
we
just-
added in than what we changed.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
If we highlight everything we change, it's gonna be difficult to quantify.
Yeah. On that specific one, we highlighted everything that was in the reform book that they recommend.
Gotcha. Okay, that's what it was. I'm
Attorney
like, oh, I
General
see
does
it.
the investigations and being more transparent. I mean, if you notice, most of the changes we're making is for our guys to be more responsible to the community.
Mhm.
Paperwork and our, what we do, be more transparent so people have more access to it and can see what we're doing. And we're, like, I just did the domestic policy. You might say, well, geez, what's that got to do with buying some stuff? But if you notice now, our old policy didn't reflect what you do for police officer domestics. That's in there now. That's the biggest change. Even our officers are being held responsible, and Gillen or anybody else who lives in our village that is a police officer. They're going to be at the same standards as the rest of our citizens. And you'll see that's the big change in today's policy, the last one I just put out. We added a whole section there on dealing with police officers.
Okay. And do you have a community policing policy?
We do have a community policing policy. That's a relatively small one. Maybe I'll
Okay.
knock that one out tomorrow, get it out there to you.
Okay. All right.
Maybe one, and I don't know how hard this would be or easy this would be to do, but for me, and maybe it's Gmail, I don't know, but for me, adding, every time you add something is on the last thing that you added, if you know what I mean. So it's kind of hard to, okay, now where is I have to keep scrolling down to find like your latest one
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
added. So
Yeah.
maybe if you sent each one out and the subject line could be, community policing policy.
Yep.
You
You
know,
know what I'll do is I'll create a group. I'll create a group that we're all in, so now I can just click that group whenever I put out a new one.
a new one. There you go. Yeah, that would just,
One thing I would like to recommend, and I know I talked to you about it today, Deb, is
yeah,
get each other's phone numbers, cell phones. And when I do put something out there, I can send you all text to say, hey, I sent out a new one, so you're aware, so you ain't constantly looking, whatever, and vice versa. If you guys see something immediately or you want to reach out, we can have a group text with all of us on it. I don't know what your feelings are on that. I have most of your numbers anyway, but if you
Yeah,
don't
we
want,
can do a group text. It's fine.
Oh.
That's a good idea.
so
at
should we
at least
just,
then, if you don't check your emails all the time, you ain't even gonna know the stuff's out there, you know?
I happen to see a lot of them coming in today, so I just do what I could to quickly look at them. But I'm assuming, I think our schedule should work because the mayor wanted us to have this by the March meeting. So probably today's the 4th, like 2 weeks from now, we would have a meeting, right? And then probably do a public comment from the 3 weeks from now. So like the 18th, we'll have a meeting, and we should get the questionnaires done in 2 weeks, probably by the 19th. And then we would have time to look at them to the public, and we can have a Zoom call with the public by the 25th, right before the board
Yeah, at
meeting.
that point, we should have some type of draft that we can propose.
I think I have a draft, and if you guys take a look at it, let me know. If you, it doesn't have to be that one. If somebody else wants to write what I added onto it, but
I'm
To
just saying,
put
as we do these modifications to
Yeah.
policies, we're gonna add to that draft, is all I'm saying. So in the
yeah. I
draft,
mean,
it's gonna be a lot thicker, I'm sure.
yeah, yes, probably will be. I mean, I don't know what you would, feel free to add to it. We can, obviously, we're gonna have about 2 weeks to go over these policies that are coming through, and George is pretty good with editing. So feel free to take a look at that.
Now, does everybody have access to Word, Microsoft Word?
yes,
Because if you notice, the old ones I'm leaving in PDF form, because those are the old ones. But the new ones, the one we're gonna implement, I got them in Word. So feel free to manipulate whatever you want to change and just send it back to me with your changes. And again, we can discuss it in the following meeting. And if everyone's in agreement, we'll make those changes.
Now, if people make changes, they should probably make it in a different color.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or highlight
Yeah,
it.
that's a great idea.
Highlight it or something so that you know what the change is.
Yep, that's a great idea.
Yeah,
Especially if multiple people are looking at the same thing we get multiple changes back, it'll be helpful to us, that's for sure.
Yes. I
Is there
agree.
anything glaring about any of the content that anybody has? I know the people probably haven't had a chance to review what we've sent out so far overall, but anything that anybody's read so far as content goes that's glaringly out there to them or seems strange or is a cause for concern that you can think of?
Not offhand, to be honest with you.
I don't think there's anything glaring.
No, not
No.
glaring.
The only thing that I mentioned to Todd today, and I don't know, I haven't read it, in depth, but if we're saying if the policy says you have to do something, I think it's important to say how we're going to do it, not just, the Altamont Police Department will blah, 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 blah. Like, we will work with, in the case of mental health, we will utilize forces such as the Albany County Mobile Crisis Unit, that type of thing, just that, we will work with mental health.
I think you're gonna see in the near future that that's gonna evolve quite
Okay.
dramatically.
Okay.
They're making big moves to fund different branches of that area of it, and I think we're gonna have a big learning curve here come short, because I think there's gonna be more resources out there available to us. And I'm not I know just listening to the radio in Guilderland, they seem to be trying to use mobile crisis a bunch more. We haven't had any specific calls to that I'm aware of anyways.
Okay.
In the very recent past, but
Yeah, I mean, that's just an example of one thing
Yeah.
that we could say how we would.
no, absolutely.
The only thing about
Yeah.
for mobile crisis to me and sending in people other than the police is scene safety, I just,
Yeah.
It's,
I sure hope that they secure the scene before they send in mobile crisis, because you could have a lot more trouble than you would have had you sent in the police first.
Yeah.
Just my
we all
opinion.
worry about that. I mean, that obviously that raises flags for us just because we've responded to so many of those calls, and ultimately that's the goal, is to get the people the help they want, whether it be from mobile crisis. The problem is there's so few teams for mobile crisis. If every EDP call you go on, you're trying to get a hold of a mobile crisis team, they're gonna need more of them, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I just wanted to bring up and get your guys a response on this is diversion. It talks about in the reform about having possibly some diversion programs. Instead of sending everybody to jail, what other options do we have out there? But the problem with that is that's not really a act of the police department. That's the court. The court is the one that actually sentences. And again, we have made suggestions in the past. I can give you an example. An individual who, for whatever reason, out on the boulevard over by George there, he shot a pig for a luau they were having. And he did
Really?
it 500 feet of a house, which was illegal. But again, his intent wasn't to do something, criminal, but it was a crime. So we arrested him, but we recommended to the judge and the DA's office, hey, this guy, he was a good member of our society. We've never had a problem with him. He should be forced to go, rather than face a fine or jail, he should have to take a gun safety course and learn what he did. And the judge agreed to it. And we did do that. So, I mean, we do stuff like that. But again, we don't really have the ultimate say. The judge has to give the blessing.
Chief, the other thing we could look into there is that UCAN program that Judge Ackerman
Oh, yeah.
County Court is employed. That's something we could, especially with the youth, and I think there's a specific age group that targets. But if they're over the age of arrest, that's a diversion program. But I think that we'd have to get our local judge on board with that.
What is that called, Jen?
It's called the UCAN program. It's
Kind of like
basically
University of Connecticut. U, just the letter U, and then
Like
Yeah.
you can't, but you can. Got it.
All right, got it.
it's she was our city court judge, but she got elected to Superior
County
Court. She's an Albany County Court judge now, but she like created a model for diversion for kids, I think it was geared at the time, Raise the Age hadn't happened yet. So it was geared for kids from like 16 to 22. So now it's 18 to 22. But if they
Mentor
complete the
program.
program, basically they get arrested, they come in, and if they're willing to join the program, they have to meet with a mentor basically, and they're from the community. People volunteer. We had a bunch of them, but they volunteer to do. They do the mentoring. They take some classes and stuff, and read books that the judge assigns to them. And then when they come in after a year, they'll abolish the conviction from their record for good. But they have to do a year of this program basically, so they're not affected for the rest of their lives. But and it worked on several. If it works on one, I guess it's worth it. It worked on. We had there was a graduation program for the kids. They were proud of it. The news was there and everything like that. Once they made it through the program, and some of them did well. Some of them, I guess it all depends on the person doing the program. They have to be willing to sacrifice that and meet with people, but they end up making friends with the mentors, and they keep contact after the program, long after the program. And so
Kind of like big brother, big sister type of thing.
yeah,
Yep.
basically it's court mandated at that point.
And if you get something positive from it, that's even better.
Yeah.
Right.
And unfortunately, if they don't graduate in the program, they face the original charge. So
Right.
they have something to make.
The motivation.
There's
Motivation.
Yeah, motivation.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah, it's part of the plea agreement. They have basically pled to the charge in the beginning,
I got you.
and they have to complete the program in order to have it removed.
I see. And it gets it off their record for the.
Yes.
Yeah. Alrighty. So we culminated with all those policies that you guys sending us. Anybody that wants to, feel free to get some feedback, but that'll be great. We can possibly meet again. Is this time okay for people?
No.
February 18th.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
And gather ideas and send it back and forth. By that point, we should, like people have said about their questionnaire, I'll reach out to Carrie today and via email to get this the questionnaire on the website for Friday and Tuesday. So 2 weeks from now, for the Wednesday, for the 18th, we should have more information. And my goal is for the February 25th will be our public comment for the Zoom call. Is that reasonable?
I think so, depending on feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
As far as the everybody's phone numbers, can you just send them in an email? I don't want to put it over this because this is obviously recorded and open to the public. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody will be calling us.
Yeah.
Do we want to
yes.
put it out on the sign? Or do you think that that's pushing it?
what?
I think what the mayor suggested is to when it's going to be on our website,
Right,
and we can send a Nixle report, and everybody that signed up for Nixle, that they'll have the public. There'll probably be more likelihood of public interaction with this web, like except for outside of people that don't have web access, than probably from a Zoom call for public comment like we do our meeting. I think with more people be inclined to, it's easier for them to, rather than schedule a time where they can just fill the survey out at their own convenience.
I just sent you mine, Todd.
Oh, thanks, George.
you have mine, Todd.
Yep, I have yours. I have Jay's. I have Pat's. I have Jean's. I don't have yours, John.
You don't have mine. All right.
No, you're the only one I don't have.
I'll
And
send it.
is Tommy Tubbs gonna still be on this, or is he kind of?
He's not feeling well, so
Yeah.
I'll
I heard
email
he got. Oh, I'm sorry. I heard he got decent news on that. Anyway, to a
Yeah, he
degree.
did.
Yeah.
So I'll reach out to him this week and see if he can try to make our 18th meeting.
Okay.
Phone number.
Is there anything, Todd or Jay, that you guys need from us immediately?
Hmm.
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
I just sent it to you.
The only thing in my head right now is policy.
Yeah, me too. That's it. We're in
Those are
that
my
mode right
policies
now.
received. All right, I think that'll be our game plan for now. We'll continue getting our policies. People can look through them, give feedback. And if I see more, I'll add it to what I've written, and anybody else, feel free to modify it. That's what it's there for. I just kind of got it back like just a preliminary draft and just some ideas. And I just
Just for
basically-
confirmation, we are not meeting next week.
no.
We're meeting on the 18th.
At a good time, I think give more people a chance to look over things. Is that
Okay.
I think that's reasonable.
Okay.
I'm going to be in Florida, but I'm going to have my laptop and I'm going to be here.
Oh, all right.
So I-
We don't want to disrupt your vacation.
Oh, no, that's not a problem at all. But
That was my reasoning. I think unless everybody would rather meet next week and take the 18th off and do our public comment on the 25th.
it's probably better if I work on getting all these policies out and give you at least a week, but even because next week's
Yeah,
meeting,
that's what I was
what are we
thinking.
going to do? You ain't,
Yeah.
you're only going to have, you're just going to be getting a lot of this stuff. So
Yeah.
probably better to have at least another week to look at everything before we meet and actually can make some judgments on what we want to, how we want to proceed with those policies.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Does anybody else have anything to add?
No,
Nope.
No.
All right. Look over the policies, get some ideas, take a look at the draft that I sent, see what you guys think, add to it, take away from it, that's fine. And we'll move forward.
who's gonna make the change to the survey to add comments?
I can send Carrie just,
Okay.
yeah, I can send her just after the meeting here and we'll add it for Friday. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Thank you. It's good to see you
Well,
all.
February 18th at 5:45.
Sounds
Okay.
good. I'll let Pat know.
Awesome.
All right,
Good night,
Take
everybody.
care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
see you guys.
John, you gotta end the meeting.
Yeah, I'm doing it.